everybody, how y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Big ups to all of my subscribers. Again, I want to thank all my ladies. I want to thank all of my guys for still rocking with me and supporting me and my channel and my movement. Again, I appreciate all of you. Your favorite non-biased YouTube commentator that goes in on both men and women here in the YouTube streets. So with no further ado, I'm going to go directly into today's recipe. Today's content for today is women under 30 can still hit the wall. To the windows, to the wall. Yes, absolutely. Women under the age of 30 can hit the wall, okay? So basically, there's a misconception that only women over the age of 35 can hit the wall simply because of her age. However, what a lot of people are not understanding is that there are so many other factors other than age that can contribute to a woman hitting the wall. This is the reason I decided to do this recipe. Women under 30 can hit the wall. The reason this is true because women these days are making a lot of womanly decisions before they can even reach their prime. There are young women that are overly indulging in promiscuous sex before they can even get their high school diploma. There are women under the age of 30 that have a large body count compared to women in their 40s because they started getting smashed in their preteens between the ages of 12 and 15 years old. Some have even become mothers before their sophomore year in high school. Young women aren't just partaking in promiscuousness, but they are also indulging in unhealthy habits such as smoking, drinking, getting high, and becoming single mothers before they get a driver's license. So with that being said, we are going to discuss the factors that can cause dysfunctional young women to hit the wall before they are even in their 40s, before they even reach their 40s. Dysfunctional young women under 30 are hitting the wall for the following reasons, which I'm going to break down all of those elements right now. So again, the reason why I felt it was imperative that I talked about this is because there's too much of a myth that age has everything to do with the reason why a lot of women claim to hit the wall. At least that has been the message that has been delivered through the YouTube streets, that a woman, if she's over 40, she hit the wall, when her age is not just the factor alone that determines if she hits the wall or not, but it has everything to do with how she lived her life, how she lived her youth, and how she takes care of herself, which determines if she has actually hit the wall or not. So back to these factors. What are the factors that basically determine that a young woman under the age of 30 has already hit the wall? The first factor is, drum roll please, highly sexually active. The young women in this era are highly promiscuous. They are very overly sexualized. We see the hot city girls, the hot summer girls, whatever they call it. This is very overly sexualized generation of women. They're getting their backs banged out before they even reach their 40s. Matter of fact, they're getting their backs banged out more than women in their 40s. By the time these young women reach their 40s, they would have already had over 1,000 or more partners. Again, there's this myth that you have a lot of men who intentionally, they would prefer to date younger women. They don't want to deal with women that are over the age of 35, over the age of 40, and I'm not knocking anybody's preference because they feel like women that are over 35 have hit the wall, that they're already molded in their ways and they're already programmed. But what a lot of these men out here not understanding is that you have some of these women under the age of 30 who have lived their lives as if they are in their 40s. Your age does not determine if you're young or old. It has everything to do with your lifestyle and the way you lived. The truth of the matter is young women lack the maturity and emotional development to understand how precious their bodies are and that sex is not a game that should be played with. They don't understand the detrimental consequences that come along with promiscuous behavior or living this thought culture. These young females can't see past the moment. They only think about the temporary satisfaction, and some have become addicted to simply just climaxing. An orgasm for some young women is like crack for a first time smoker. After that first good hit, they just have to keep going back for more, meaning they have to keep having, casual sex with random dudes, with all type of men, because again, when it comes to these young females, once they have experienced their first climax, in most cases, most young women become addicted to climaxing. And what tends to happen is they get so consumed with climaxing, they've become addicted to the feeling of it, having very little regards for the consequences of it. These young females are uneducated when it comes to sex, so they don't have the knowledge of how to protect themselves. These young women have become addicted to orgasming, to the point that they neglect protecting themselves, and this is where the collateral damage comes along with it. Young women don't have the mental capacity to separate temporary satisfaction from permanent damage. This is where they become single mothers, because they have become infatuated with the act of sex, but not learning how to take the proper precautions so they could avoid the consequences of it. These young women are allowing these young dudes to have access to their vagina, even though these young dudes have no respect for them. I've witnessed a lot of these young women be so naive that they will pick up a dude in their car just to give the dude some and have to drop the guy back off without even getting a chicken sandwich out of the deal. Some are having orgies, partaking in a lot of immoral sexual behavior. Guys are running trains on them. I mean, you have a lot of women under 30 who live a very fast, promiscuous lifestyle. These young women think that using their vagina is the only weapon they could use for validation, especially if these young women don't have mothers that are teaching them and making them understand that sex shouldn't be a hobby you just do just to be doing it, but sex is a gift that you should give a man that has given you the blessing of being his wife. Let's be real. A lot of these black women aren't really teaching their daughters anything. And I'm just being frank. I know some personally. Now, if it does not apply, you ain't got to reply. A lot of black women are not out here schooling their daughters. And the reason why a lot of them cannot school their daughters is because a lot of them think they are still up with their daughters. You have a lot of older black women who don't want to accept the fact that their youth has expired. They don't want to accept it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do content on that soon, coming up, about women over 40 who won't let go of their youth. But we're going to save that for another time, another discussion. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of us as black women, we're not teaching our daughters anything, and this is how they end up repeating the same cycle, and they become another statistic, because black women that are over the age of 40 who have daughters that are in their teens, who have their daughters that are in their early 20s, this is the time that as a grown woman you really need to be mentally and emotionally preparing your daughter for the things that she's going to have to protect herself from as a woman. A lot of us as black women, we're not being transparent with our daughters and saying, look, when I was your age, I was a hoe. I was a thought. I slept with all the guys in the neighborhood because I so badly wanted attention, or I so badly felt like I had to compete with other girls. So I felt like the only way I could stand on top and get guys to notice me was I had to be promiscuous. It's not a lot of black women that are going to be transparent and be honest so they can protect their children, protect their daughters from falling in those same foot traps. Instead, a lot of older women, they blame outside external factors for why they made the decisions they made. Well, I was promiscuous because I did not have a father in my home, or because I didn't have a mother that taught me anything. And in some cases, this may be true, but the problem is a lot of us have learned to just use our failures and traumatizing experiences from our childhood. We have learned to utilize that as a crutch. We lean on that all the time so people could sympathize and empathize with us. And the unfortunate part is, we can, as grown women, we could be using all of the bad choices we made to be teaching our daughters that are coming up behind us that, look, you don't have to do what mommy did. I was out there thoughting it up, okay? I was letting dudes run trains on me. I was letting dudes raw dog me. And this is where it got me. It caused me to get a reputation. None of the dudes in my neighborhood respected me. Every dude that wanted to get with me, he only wanted to get with me because he knew that I was already putting out for other guys. So he wasn't really feeling me for me. He was only feeling me for what he felt I could give him. I just wish more women would be more transparent and tell their daughters and be open with them. Let them know if you was a whore. Let them know you was a whore. Let them know what being a whore, how it costed you being a whore. The backlash that came behind you being a whore. You was a freak in high school. You was one of them females that went to the Freaknik every year. Meeting dudes from all over, all type of different states. Didn't even know their last name and was letting dudes bang you up at the Freaknik and the Orange Crush. And, a lot of black women, we don't want to share our pains and embarrassment with our daughters, and that's the main thing that can possibly save their lives if you be very transparent with them. I've told my daughter, the things that I have done, to try to get guys to notice me, to try to get guys to like me, and not understanding that all it did was just make guys just, look at me the wrong way or perceive me to be the wrong way. And I was transparent. I was open with her. I shared my experiences. I didn't blame it on my childhood. I didn't blame it because I didn't have a father in my life. And, my mom was a single mom. I didn't go through having all of these sympathy shenanigans. You have to be transparent. And a lot of us aren't doing that. But the problem is, the reason why a lot of us as black women, we're not teaching our daughters anything, and our sons as well, but I want us to stay on one subject. Right now I'm talking more in reference to women, so we'll save that subject for another time. I just don't want to skip all over the place because it's always somebody, well, what about sons, black women who raise sons? Yes, I'm going to talk about that before another time. But as I stated, black women aren't teaching their daughters anything. They are too busy doing them. That's one of the biggest problems. You have a lot of older black women. Now that they have daughters that are grown, this is the time they should be schooling them and coaching them, where they actually should have been doing that way before they got grown. But once your daughter has reached her womanhood, once she hits the age of 17 and she's in her middle 20s before she becomes 23 years old, is this the critical moment when you have to really start teaching them the game, preparing them, schooling them for the obstacles that they're going to face when they leave from out your house. When they go out there in the world on their own, they have to learn how to deal with being a woman and caring and handling grown woman business. You know what I'm saying? So the truth is, like I said, there's too many mothers that are still doing them. You can't teach your daughters anything. You're not teaching them anything because you're too busy in the club. Or are you too busy trying to get you a man? Or are you too busy trying to do you? It's a lot of us, unfortunately, but we have a lot of black women that are mothers, not by how they treat their children, but basically because they were able to give birth to them. Just because you give birth to a child does not make you a mother. You know what I mean? So being a mother is more than just birthing children. You're actually raising them, you're structuring them, you're guiding them. That's what comes with the territory. And it's not enough of us that are doing that because, again, we are doing us. We're still trying to get us a man. We're still trying to hit the club. All ladies get in free before 10 o'clock, drinks half off. That's what we're more concerned about. Still trying to get attention from men. Still trying to get DNA, dick, and attention. They are basically, we as black women, we are leaving these young women out here alone to have to figure things out for themselves. And it should not be that way. We should be structuring and schooling these young black women before they leave our households, so that way they are already prepared to deal with what the world has in store for them. A female that has started having sex at the age of 13, most likely she has passed the wall compared to a 40-year-old woman that didn't have sex until she hit her 20s. And that's why I stated that younger isn't always better. Now, this isn't to say older women are better either. Because, again, we still got women over 40 who done hit the wall. Those are the ones who was young freaks back in the day. Those are the ones who was letting dudes screw them under the bleachers in the gym. They were the girls that, dudes ran trains on them behind the bushes after school. All of us knew those one or two females in the neighborhood that was just a freak. That it was hard for you to get a boyfriend because Kiki and her sisters on the same block, they was the ones having sex with all the boys. So none of the boys in your neighborhood was interested in you if you wasn't putting out. Because Kiki and her sisters, that's the house where they mama work so much or run the streets and do so much, they sneaking all kind of boys over there. Guys, young men climbing through their windows all time of night because the mom always working or she either out in the club doing what she want to do, These are the women now who are in their 40s and are not married. Can't find a man to really want anything with them to take them serious. Because, of the lifestyle they lived during their youth. They was freaks. They was whores. They was screwing basically every Tom, Dick, and Daryl. So, just because you're young, that doesn't mean you're pure. That doesn't mean you're fresh. Just because you're under 30. Just because you're over 40. Does not necessarily mean if you hit the wall. If that 40-year-old woman was married since she was 18, she didn't hit no wall because she's been in the same marriage with the same man for years. How she hit the wall when what she did was gave her youth to her husband as well as her maturity to her husband. She wasn't around here during her youth screwing Mike, Daryl, Greg, and Todd. She was with her same husband for years. The next one is unhealthy living habits. This is another factor that can cause females under the age of 30 to hit the wall. Smoking, drinking, getting high, excessive partying. You have a lot of women under the age of 30 that are doing this. I'm 41 and I have never touched a cigarette, nor have I smoked weed, meth, or any other illegal drugs. However, you have women under the age of 30 that have already experimented with all kinds of drugs. Young women that smoke or drink a lot, usually in most cases, make themselves age faster than most. I've seen some rough 30-year-olds that almost look like they're in their 40s. Women tend to age faster the more they start indulging in an unhealthy lifestyle. Drugs and alcohol leads to a lot of promiscuous behavior. These young women like to get stoned with dudes They get stoned with guys who usually take advantage of them when they are high. Um, a lot of them have gotten raped, going to parties, smoking blunts with grimy ass dudes that have laced their weed with cocaine, meth, or other drugs. Not only that, these young women don't eat healthy. Half of them are triple their size. You know, you have these young women, they're bigger and more overweight than women in their 40s. And these are young women that are, in some cases, some of them not even doggone 20 years old yet. And they are already extremely overweight. Um, a woman in her 40s, you know, that has never used illegal drugs, never drank alcohol excessively, has never, didn't party excessively, like a lot. They haven't hit the wall as quick as a woman under 30 who has done all of these things. I mean, for instance, I remember when I graduated high school in 1999. That was during my prime when I started going out and clubbing. I was 19. I didn't have any children. So, me being young at the time, as a young woman, that's what I did. You know, I worked, had me a little job at the boutique or whatever. Every weekend, I'm in the club spending money. You know, I did that for, I would say, like a year and a half. And once I moved back down south, you know, that is when I met my husband. And I immediately, you know, got away from that lifestyle because that was not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. You know, I knew that I wanted to be a wife when I was in my 20s. It didn't take me being ran through 800 guys later. It didn't take me 4 or 5 baby daddies later for me to realize, okay, I want to settle down. I want a family. I want a husband. It didn't take me getting knocked up from some, you know, bum ass dude, you know what I mean? And now I'm looking for a Captain Save-em to, you know, rescue me and my child, from a deadbeat. You get what I'm saying? So, I learned that early on. It's unfortunate though that a lot of these young women, nobody has taught them, you know, and they're not schooling them and letting them know that. They don't have to resort to making them type of decisions. You don't have to wait. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to wait 8, 9 kids later. Now you realize you should have made a better decision. So after experiencing that life, I quickly realized it wasn't for me. So I settled down as soon as I turned 20. As soon as I got in my 20s. I settled down very early. Met my husband in my 20s. Had my daughter when I was 21. You know, and the rest was history. So this is the third factor that has contributed to women under the age of 30 that have hit the wall. Becoming a single mother, which I had already kind of mentioned that before, but now I'm going more in depth. There are more single mothers in their 30s compared to women that are in their 40s. I am married with 1 child. I know young women that are under 30 with 2 children or more and have never been married. They already have 2 or more baby daddies and they aren't even 30 yet. Some aren't even 20. You have 15-year-old black females that are already on their second child. By the time they reach 20, she'll been done added 2, 3 more on top of the 1 or 2 she already has. Some of these young broads can't even get child support because the fathers of their children haven't even graduated high school. In some cases, some of these young females under 30 are so bold, they are smashing older dudes. And in some cases, they're even smashing married older dudes. You have females under 30 collecting child support from dudes twice their age. Women under 30 with multiple children from multiple men have burnt themselves out due to the overwhelming responsibilities that came along with being a single mother. A lot of these young women have already emotionally, mentally, and physically burnt themselves out. because they have to uphold both roles. They got to be the mother and they got to be the father. You got young women out here that are not even in their 30s and got to work 2, 3 jobs. And really, honestly, when you're young, certain things, you haven't reached a stage in life where certain things you just aren't supposed to be taking on. Really, no female under the age of 30 should be in a position where they got 3, 4 kids or more and they have to work 3 or 4 jobs. Technically speaking, when you're under 30, you're not supposed to have such excessive amount of baggage and responsibilities, because you're still trying to get yourself established. But for females under 30, like I stated, who started making grown woman decisions when they was 13, 14, and 15, meaning you was out there letting all type of dudes dick you instead of you being in school, learning something, trying to better yourself. So when you become a grown woman, you can prepare for the world. A lot of these young females are, these are the ones who was sneaking out their window to go have sex in the bottom of the basement, or to go be screwed in some young dude's house in his mama bedroom. These are the young females that have resorted to this type of lifestyle at a young age. They took on these womanly responsibilities, and now that they're grown women, they're in their 20s, they are still struggling getting it together because they did not give themselves a chance to fully complete being an adolescent before they transitioned into becoming a full-grown woman. And when you skip a stage instead of staying in order, that's when things become really chaotic for you. Back to my little notes here. As I stated, women under 30 with multiple children from different men, they burn themselves out early because of the responsibilities, having to work all them jobs, having to take care of everything, having to do everything. It can really wear you thin. Women under 30 that are single mothers have difficulty parenting because they don't have the womanly skills it takes to be a mother. Now, honestly, most of them ain't got shit. A lot of these females under 30 are living with their parents. Some don't even have a car. If they do, they're not the ones making payments on it, and they can't even keep gas in it. Their parents got to lend them gas money. Their parents got to pay for the maintenance. Some, they don't even have a job. You got females under 30 who don't like to work. Contrary to what many people may believe, just because a certain person has reached a certain age, you think they would want a job. Some people just do not like to work. You got some 30-year-old females, they don't want to work. They don't want to be independent. They don't. They want mommy, daddy, sugar daddy. They want to find somebody that's going to take care of them. In some cases, they can't get money from the deadbeat baby daddies, and they are basically just stuck. This is usually women, females under 30 who have made themselves single mothers. That's why they're overwhelmed. They're deadbeat baby daddies. They can't make them cooperate. I mean, honestly, you cannot make a man do anything. He has to want to do it for his child. He has to want to be there. You want them women, you got to twist a man by his arms to make him step up and make him be a father. Unfortunately, you're going to spend the majority of your lifetime miserable, because at the end of the day, he's a grown man. You can't make him do but so much. Even though that is his child, the majority of the responsibility is going to be on you. It always has been. That's why I tell women it's very important you be careful who you get pregnant from, because you're the one that's going to be holding that bag. When a man is tired and a man don't want to be bothered, he ain't got to deal with it. As a woman, even when we get tired, we still got to deal with it. When I had my one and only daughter, as much as my husband was working, it was always on me. Yes, he provided, he took care of the bills, got his own business and everything, but when it came down to parenting, the majority of it was on me. And it wasn't because he was neglectful, but I wasn't working. Somebody would have to pay the bills. I couldn't have it all my way, all the way around. I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom, not work and not raise our daughter together. I had to do my part as the wife. So, that's just comes with the territory. In actuality, these young females, they can't be more than what they are. They can't. They cannot be more than what they are, and they can't have no more than what they got. When you start putting grown woman responsibilities on yourself as a young woman, you made yourself a woman before your time, before you can get yourself established, before you can learn about life, before you can learn about love, before you can learn about men. You bring a lot of mental, emotional stress upon yourself when you do things that you're not adultish enough to handle. And I don't know if adultish is a word, but it's going to be a word today. At this point, the only thing she can give a man is headache and excess baggage. That's what a lot of these young women do. When they see they can't get nowhere with these young dudes and they can't make these young dudes man up, then next thing you notice, they're looking for something older. They're looking for a sugar daddy. A old simp of a sugar daddy. Somebody who's so old and desperate, they don't mind taking in a young woman who has a lot of excess baggage. You do have some dudes that will do it. It's not many, but you do have some that do. Women who put themselves in this position will continue to use their vagina to get ahead. So she will continue to keep getting pregnant from dudes as a hustle to survive. That's been the name of the game for quite some time. Profiting off of producing. That has become the hood hustle. Is not really new. It's one of those things that's kind of been going on for centuries, but thanks to social media, it's even worse now. A lot of these women in this day and era, they're putting themselves in positions to where they will intentionally get pregnant so they can produce income by getting child support. They would get knocked up from any and everybody, especially if it's a man who's worth something that has money, because that's how she secures the bag, by getting pregnant. So in conclusion, talking about these women under 30, how they can hit the wall. I say all that to say this: age doesn't determine if a woman has hit the wall. Her lifestyle, and the way she has lived her life determines if she hits the wall. All 40-year-old women, as I stated before, haven't hit the wall. A lot of us did have enough sense to go get married first. We didn't wait 3, 4, 5 babies daddy later to look for somebody to take care of us. A lot of 40-year-old women, they didn't do a lot of drinking. They didn't do a lot of smoking. They took care of themselves. You got some women in their 40s and look damn good to be in their 40s. Still in shape, still look good. Still with their same husbands. Got their own businesses. You have a lot of women in their 40s who got their shit together. They ain't out here trying to be a cougar and go after young men and make themselves feel young. Contrary to what many may believe, you have women over 40 who is striving to better themselves. So you cannot let age determine if somebody has hit the wall. How many children she has had from multiple men determine if she has hit the wall. That's a big factor. If anything, I should have made that number 1. She has 5 kids and 3 baby daddies. None of them didn't marry her. Then on top of that, she didn't even finish high school yet. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to be 40 to hit the wall. You have a young woman who's 16 years old, but if she screwed half of the men in her neighborhood, she done already made herself a 40, a worn out 40. Also, unhealthy living habits also determine if she has hit the wall. Are you dealing with a female who does a lot of smoking, who does a lot of drinking, who lacks mannerisms when in the public eye, uses excessive profanity? Anytime she's in a situation where she has to prove a point, she has to be loud, she has to be obnoxious, she has to be hood. All of this is unhealthy. And this can cause you to hit the wall before you're 40. And the last point is, you have women in their 40s that have made good decisions. And even though they may be up in their age, they have lived a decent life. I'm very fortunate that, even though I'm 41, I'm glad that I had dodged a bullet that a lot of black women wasn't able to dodge. I didn't use sexuality as a means to manipulate men or to secure the bag. I guess just my morals and the way I was raised. I have both of my fathers in my life. My stepfather been in my life since I've been 2, and my biological father started coming around when I was 16. So I had the pleasure of having both of my fathers in my life, but a lot of these women don't have that. I'm going to be doing content on that soon too. I'm going to be talking about black women who were raised by their toxic fathers, because there's a myth that if black women weren't raised just by single moms, if they had both parents in the household, they would be better people. And I beg to differ. Even though it is better to have both parents under the same roof raising you, like me and my husband, we both raised our daughter, together. And that is something I always had strived to do. I did not want a man who would not be willing to work with me and we raise our child together. A lot of black women were born and raised in households where there was a mother or father, but that don't mean the father was a good father. And we're going to be definitely chopping it up on that, so look out for my upload on that. I'm going to be discussing daughters, black women who have been raised by their dysfunctional fathers, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But anyway, y'all, definitely leave y'all comment below. What do y'all think? Do y'all really believe a woman has to be 40 to hit the wall? Or does it just have everything to do with how the hell she lived her life? Do you think women under the age of 30, they are exempt from hitting the wall? Is it really just the age factor? I'm interested in wanting to know what you ladies and what you guys think about hitting the wall. Because we make it sound like that's a 40 and up person. When I'm seeing young women, some of them not even 30. I know some that's in their middle 20s. And are definitely lost in the sauce. So definitely, y'all, get at me. Leave y'all comment below. I'm going to be uploading some more material. I'm going to be talking about unstable women over the age of 40 can not be choosy. So I'm going to be doing some uploads on that. So anyway, y'all, leave y'all comment below. If you haven't already, take a second to hit that like button before you exit the video. Please click the likes. The likes is for free. It's not going to cost you anything. I'm not asking for donations or super chat. Just please thumb it up if you like what you heard today on Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So I think I just told y'all about some of the topics that I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be talking about unstable women over the age of 40. I'm going to be doing content also for men. Every man is not worth the prized possession of your penis. I'm going to be talking about that. What did I have in there? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So I got a couple of recipes. I got a lot of recipes coming up for y'all. So definitely please hit that notification bell so y'all do not miss out. So anyway, y'all, this is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge. Ladies, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my woman's only channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I think I got 70 something subscribers. I want to at least have 100 subscribers so I can start doing content specifically for ladies. So if you haven't subscribed, be sure you do. Talk to y'all later. Have a blessed one. Bye.